Hello, my name's Amy, and this is my presentation. It's called The Symptoms of an Unengaged Student, or I Take Notes with My Phone. So the type of student I observed was in a few different classes, not the same student, two different students. Both of them had books on their desk, but the books were closed during class time, and instead of having a pencil in their hand, they had their phone in their hand. They weren't trying to hide their phone use. They were openly texting right in the middle of a lecture type situation. The only thing that they were focused on was their phone, which was on top of their closed books. So as I said before, the student has their phone on their desk, which they're often using. They're not taking notes. They're occasionally try to be paying attention, but it's hard to tell if they're pretending or if they actually are paying attention. And their body language suggests they'd rather be anywhere else than in class, probably talking with their friends or something. I think the most surprising thing that I noticed about these kids was that when they were assigned individual work, they were able to actually produce something that implied that they knew what they were doing. From someone going from paying practically zero attention to be able to, do what the teacher asked was really surprising to me. So it leads me to ask whether or not they are finding the content too easy. Are they being challenged enough? Or are they actually paying attention? Am I completely misinterpreting their body language and their actions? So all in all, basically what I learned from observing these two different students is that it's really hard to tell what they're thinking. Their body language can be suggesting one thing while their brain is fully engaged. It's hard to say. But in order to ensure that they are fully engaged, to take that guesswork out of it, we really need to get them to put down their phones and to participate. Take them out of their comfort zones. I think a really great way to take them out of their comfort zone and out from behind the desk is to approach the lesson in a different way. Instead of giving them the option of, being able to pretend paying attention by not really taking notes and allowing them to drift in and out of focus, we need to get them to work in small groups or with a partner. That really shakes it up for that student. It really helps inhibit them from being able to not participate, to get away with doing seemingly no work. One of the really great things about small group work or partner work is that each student is accountable to the other student in their group. So if one of the students doesn't contribute, it really affects the entire group. I think that there's some sort of pressure for each kid to be able to show what they know in a group. Otherwise, the entire group could fail, and nobody wants to be responsible for the failure of an entire group. So what can we do as teachers? I think that we really need to motivate these students in other ways. We need to stimulate them in other ways. For example, in an English class, one of the assignments I observed was working on a thesis statement. So perhaps to approach it in a different way is that we could have randomly assigned groups of two, let's say partners, and then we'd have the partners move to work with each other, so they're getting up and moving. They're taken out of that comfort zone of paying attention or not really paying attention on their phone, etc. So they're removed from that environment and they're brought with a partner and they're given a small assignment to work on a thesis. So they both come up with an idea of what they want to write their thesis on. They would each individually write a thesis about that subject, and then they would share their thesis statement with each other to, for peer review and whatnot. And then that would be it. They'd be held accountable by their partner, and that would essentially force them to become more engaged. And hopefully this new approach of assigning this task would lead to a transformation. We want to take that bored student and get them engaged. That's all I'm after. Engaged students who care about their own learning. Thank you for listening.